What's going on, y'all? It's Derek J407 here to give you my thoughts on this week's episode of Lucha Underground. We are in Ultima Lucha territory here. So we are on Ultima Lucha Dos Night 1. This is a three-part event, and Night 1 was tonight, so this is the first part. And of course, we'll have another one next week, and then finally the week after that, and Lucha Underground will be over. So we in the home stretch now. But this episode was dedicated to a unique opportunity, the one that Dario Cueto was talking about last week, for four lucky individuals, that being the Mac, Cage, Tejano, and Son of Havoc. They would get a unique opportunity, whoever would win. Now, I thought it was going to be a fatal four-way match, but it just ended up being like a little tournament, a mini tournament, you know. So two singles matches, and the winners of those will face off, and the winner of the whole thing gets a unique opportunity in the end. So that's what it ended up being. So we started off with a one-on-one match between the Mac and Cage, much like last year, Ultima Lucha. The Mac and Cage going at it once again. Had a great match last year. I completely forgot all about that. But yeah, they had a really good match to open up. I think it was because last year it was two parts. So the second part was kicked off by these two, and it was a really good match last year, and they brought out all the stops again here. It was Falls Count Anywhere, so you knew shit was going down. Dario Cueto popped his head out of his office to make the match Falls Count Anywhere, and from the get-go, they just went at it. At one point, Cage even knocked the Mac's head into Dario's office, and they even went in Dario's office, so you could see him in there with Black Lotus and all that. So yeah, that was a trip. But yeah, they were doing some crazy stuff in this match, you know, usual weapons. But at some point, the Mac, at one point it was either him or Cage. I believe it was the Mac. He was playing a guitar, and then he pulled out some piñatas, and inside the piñatas were weapons that they were using on each other. So that was very unique. And of course, the main highlight of the match, the Mac has Cage laid out on a table. He goes up to the top of the not top of the rafters, but like the what kind of the rafters? Not that far up. But he goes up the steps and goes up towards one of the balconies, you know, where the fans were at, the believers. And he dives off, splashes onto Cage through the table, but only gets a near fall. And that was shocking to me. I think before this, too, he was drinking beer and he hit a stunner. So, I don't know why he does that, but he does that. He clangs two beers together and spits it in Cage's face, or I don't know if he spits in his face, but he does give him the stunner when he does it, so, but whatever. And I think the splash came afterwards, but it was only a near fall. And the stunner was a near fall too, I believe. So it's like, if you're going to hit the stunner, at least win the match with it. But, yeah, so he splashes off. I don't think he got the pinfall. No, he didn't. Because then later, Cage got, you know, he fought back, and then he was about to, you know, stomp his head into a cinder block, similar to what he did last year. But this time, the Mac reversed it and got him into a roll-up and got the victory. So it's like, why didn't he win after that splash off of the balcony onto Cage through a table? Whatever. You can't nitpick the stuff. So then it was Tejano and Son of Havoc's turn. They had their match. Their match was a bar fight because Dario Cueto said, you know, he sees a biker and he sees a cowboy and he immediately thinks bar fight. So he made it a Boyle Heights bar fight, and they had bar equipment out there, like shot glasses and all that kind of stuff. There was a keg. This is the first time I've seen a keg used in a match on TV, so that was cool. And a bunch of other crazy stuff. A lot of glass, some beer bottles and all that kind of stuff. At one point, the keg was like arched into the turnbuckle, like, you know, you see guys do with chairs and trash cans and ladders and that kind of stuff. They wedged the keg in there. I think Tejano did that, but then Son of Havoc kind of drop kicked him back. He hit back first into the keg. It's like, damn, that had to suck. So yeah, they used a lot of weapons. There was a lot of glass used in this match. There was like a cart outside the ring that had all the glasses and stuff like that on it. And Tejano was up on the turnbuckle, and Son of Havoc pushed him off, and he threw right into all that glass. At one point, Son of Havoc, he had a bunch of glass bottles in the ring, and he threw him onto that, and that was the finish. You ain't getting up from that. See, that's how you finish it. You get knocked in the glass, you lose. Unlike the previous match where some guy dives off the top of a balcony onto you and you crash through a table and you kick out. That I don't know why that bugged me. But Son of Havoc did win. Both of these matches were brutal. Just brutal matches. And by the time the Mac and Son of Havoc went at it and Dario Cueto came out and announced it as a Falls Count Anywhere match, I'm like, you know what? I'm spent now. I can't do this no more. But they had their Falls Count Anywhere match. I just couldn't really get into it. I was just hoping Son of Havoc would win because he was my pick to win. And he did win. He hit the shooting star press in the end of the match. It was a decent match, but after you see the first two brawls, you get to this one, it's like, okay, I've had my fill. It's like those TLC pay-per-views. It's like, have all these matches, these guys killing each other all throughout the show, and then you get to the final match, which is usually a TLC match, and it's like, you can't get into it. And that's the same thing here. It's like, you've seen all that you could see previously, so there's nothing left to impress me, really. So, Son of Havoc won. My prediction was true, and I figured he would win. My point of view was that, Son of Havoc really don't get much of a break that often, so, it would be nice to throw him a bone here and let him get some kind of happiness on this show. Of course, it didn't last long, because then Dario came out, accompanied by Black Lotus. This is one of the first times we've seen Black Lotus on screen in the temple, like in the ring. I think this is one of the first times we've seen her in the ring. I'm not sure, but yeah, she was out there with him. He had two briefcases. One briefcase contained $250,000 in cash, but the other briefcase contained a contract that would grant Son of Havoc a Lucha Underground Championship match in the main event of Ultima Lucha Trace next year. So, if you're like me, smart person, even Vampiro said it, like, I'd take the money and run. But then again, I'm someone who doesn't have a whole lot of money, so $250,000 right up front like that sounds pretty damn good. But, Son of Havoc, he wanted that championship opportunity, so he chose that. But Dario told him, okay, you're in the main event of Ultima Lucha Trace if you can win your next match. So he had him go up against Famous B. I blanked on his name. Famous B's new boy. He dropped Masquerita Sagrada a few weeks ago, so he and Brenda now have a new client, that being Dr. Wagner Jr., who is a big name in Lucha Libre. Apparently, I never really heard of him, but he's apparently a huge name. He came out there. You figured what would happen, and it did. He ended up winning, and he won the money. So the stip was that if he would win, then he would get the money. I don't think he gets a title shot, but he got the money. So it was good to see that money didn't go to waste. And Famous B and Brenda, they were laughing, like they were like, I'm rich, or we're rich, and it's like, that was pretty funny. So poor Son of Havoc, I predicted that he would win the opportunity. I didn't predict that he would keep it. But yeah, sucks to be him, but hey, it was still a pretty good show. I was able to check out NXT this week to see that 2 out of 3 Falls match for the tag team titles. Another great match between American Alpha and the Revival, as well as the bracketology for the Cruiserweight Classic, which starts next week. So good wrestling on this Wednesday night. But Ultima Lucha Dos, part 1 down, 2 more nights to go, and I'll be there for the other 2 nights. So see y'all later.